The screen opens with rain falling on a quiet suburban street in Texas. Emily, 18, struggles to push her worn wheelchair over slippery pavement, frustration and isolation on her face. Passers-by ignore her, umbrellas shielding them from the downpour. A young mechanic, Jake, 25, notices her struggle from a nearby garage, wiping his hands on a rag, his eyes filled with concern and empathy. He approaches, offering help. Close-up on Emily's eyes widening with cautious hope. The camera pans the rain-soaked street and the small garage, highlighting the moment when two lives are about to change forever. Dramatic, emotional music sets the tone, building anticipation for the story ahead. Like, share, and subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Now let's get started. Emily sat by the window, watching the rain streak down the glass, blurring the quiet suburban street outside. She'd been confined to a wheelchair for 3 years, ever since the accident that had changed her life forever. Her mind wandered back to that night, the screech of tires, the impact, and the abrupt silence afterward. Her legs hadn't responded since, and every day had become a reminder of the life she once took for granted. The wheelchair had become both her lifeline and her prison, offering freedom while constantly highlighting limitations she wished didn't exist. Today, the streets were slick with rain, and Emily struggled to maneuver her old, worn-out wheelchair over the uneven pavement. The wheels wobbled dangerously, threatening to get stuck in puddles or cracks. She grimaced, her hands blistered and sore from the effort. People passed by, umbrellas shielding them from the downpour, but no one stopped to help. She felt invisible, an outsider in her own town. Emily's frustration boiled over, mingling with sadness and loneliness. The heavy sky above mirrored her mood, pressing down as if the world shared in her hopelessness. Her parents had always been supportive, encouraging her to keep attending therapy and remain optimistic. Yet their love could not erase the deep ache she felt daily. Friends visited occasionally, but they didn't fully understand the limitations of a paralyzed life. The subtle microaggressions, the rushed assistance, the pitying looks, only made Emily withdraw further. She longed for independence, for a chance to feel normal again, even if just for a moment. Her spirit ached to reclaim a sense of agency over her life, to feel the ground beneath her feet rather than the cold metal of her wheelchair. As she struggled along the slippery sidewalk, Emily noticed a young man working on a car in a nearby garage. His sleeves were rolled up, hands greasy with engine oil, and his face concentrated but calm. He appeared to be in his mid-20s, with an approachable demeanor and a spark of curiosity in his eyes. Something about him seemed different from the others who walked by without a glance. Emily hesitated, unsure whether to ask for help, but her body ached, and she knew she couldn't make it to the end of the block alone. She took a deep breath and called out to him. The mechanic looked up, wiping his hands on a rag, and smiled. "Need some help?" he asked, his voice steady and kind. Emily nodded, relief flooding through her chest. He approached her carefully, offering support as she tried to navigate the final stretch to the garage. Every step felt like a monumental effort, her body trembling as she relied on his steady presence. For the first time in months, someone seemed genuinely willing to understand her struggle without judgment. The rain soaked their clothes, but neither seemed to care. There was an unspoken understanding forming, a connection built on empathy and shared perseverance. Once inside the garage, Emily parked her wheelchair beside the tools and machinery, exhausted but grateful. The mechanic introduced himself as Jake and asked questions, not just out of curiosity, but with genuine interest in her experience. He listened intently as she explained her accident, the rehabilitation process, and her daily frustrations. Emily rarely spoke about her feelings with strangers, but something about Jake's sincerity made it easy. She felt heard in a way she hadn't in years. He nodded thoughtfully, occasionally jotting down notes or sketching designs on a piece of scrap paper, as if planning a solution. Jake's eyes lit up as he discussed ideas for modifications and support systems that could enhance Emily's mobility. He talked about custom braces, reinforced wheels, and mechanical adjustments that could allow partial weight-bearing. Emily was skeptical but intrigued. She had long given up on the possibility of walking again, believing her condition permanent. Yet the passion in Jake's voice, the meticulous way he described potential solutions, made her hope flicker just slightly. It was the first spark of possibility she had felt in years, a small but powerful glimmer that maybe, just maybe, life could offer a new chance. Over the next few hours, Jake and Emily talked extensively. He measured her wheelchair, examined her posture, and asked about her therapy regimen. Emily realized how rare it was to encounter someone who approached her condition, not with pity, but with determination to make a real difference. As they brainstormed ideas, Emily's excitement grew, mingling with nervous apprehension. Could a young mechanic really change what doctors had deemed impossible? She couldn't know yet, but she allowed herself to dream, to imagine the sensation of standing, of feeling strength in her legs, of reclaiming a piece of life she thought lost forever. The rain slowed outside, but inside the garage, a storm of activity began. Jake sketched diagrams, pulled out tools, and experimented with materials, constantly explaining his process to Emily. She watched intently, inspired by his creativity and dedication. Every adjustment, every bolt tightened, felt like a small step toward hope. Emily's hands itched to try, to assist in some way, but Jake encouraged her to rest, assuring her that he wanted her to be part of the process gradually. There was a rhythm to the workshop, a shared energy that made the hours pass quickly, filled with a sense of purpose and possibility. As the day ended, Emily wheeled herself to the garage door, exhaustion mingling with anticipation. Jake promised to continue working on a prototype that could support her safely. Emily's parents arrived to pick her up, skeptical, yet curious about the young mechanic who had entered their daughter's life. They watched her leave with a tentative smile, a fragile hope shining in her eyes for the first time in years. That evening, as the rain finally cleared, Emily lay in bed, imagining what tomorrow might bring. For the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to believe that change, real, life-altering change, was possible. Over the next several days, Jake worked tirelessly in his small Texas garage, sketching, adjusting, and testing prototypes for Emily's custom wheelchair. Every afternoon, Emily would arrive after her therapy sessions, watching him carefully tweak the mechanics, curious about the possibilities. He explained every component, reinforced braces, adjustable supports, and partially weight-bearing mechanisms, ensuring she understood how it would all function. Emily's skepticism slowly transformed into cautious excitement. She had never encountered someone so dedicated to her mobility, someone willing to challenge conventional limitations. The garage became a place of experimentation, hope, and quiet determination. Jake tested different materials for the braces, balancing strength and flexibility. He experimented with hydraulic support systems and adjustable wheel tension to accommodate Emily's weight distribution. He constantly measured, recalculated, and improvised, making sure each modification was safe yet effective. Emily sat nearby, occasionally offering feedback about comfort or stability. Their collaboration deepened. Emily's knowledge of her own limitations combined with Jake's engineering skills. Each small success, like a smoother wheel rotation or a more comfortable brace, fueled their excitement. They joked, laughed, and shared stories, creating a connection that went beyond mechanic and client. The anticipation grew as the first functional prototype neared completion. Emily felt a mixture of nerves and hope as Jake carefully adjusted the straps around her legs. The braces were sturdy, yet surprisingly lightweight, designed to support her partially while allowing her muscles to engage naturally. She gripped the armrests, her heart pounding as Jake guided her to stand. The sensation was alien at first. Her legs trembled, her knees wobbled, but the supportive structure held her safely. Tears threatened to fall as she experienced weight on her legs for the first time in 3 years. Jake's reassuring presence and calm instructions kept her grounded. Step by step, Emily shifted her weight, testing the limits of the custom wheelchair's support system. The movement was tentative but exhilarating. Every inch she rose felt like reclaiming a piece of life she had thought lost forever. Jake stayed beside her, ready to catch her if she faltered. Emily's face flushed with effort and excitement, a mixture of relief and disbelief. This moment was more than just mechanical success. It was emotional and transformative. The impossible dream she had buried deep inside her heart was now unfolding before her eyes, powered by ingenuity, courage, and relentless determination. After several careful attempts, Emily managed to take a few supported steps. The garage was filled with the sound of her feet tapping lightly against the reinforced floor. Each step brought exhilaration and nervous laughter, accompanied by tears she couldn't hold back. Jake watched intently, adjusting the braces and wheels as needed, his face reflecting pride and satisfaction. Emily's parents arrived midway through the session, their emotions overwhelmed. They had been skeptical, but couldn't deny the miracle unfolding in front of them. Cameras were forgotten as the family witnessed a young woman defying odds, reclaiming independence with a combination of courage, support, and innovation. The weeks that followed were filled with repetitive practice and gradual improvement. Emily's muscles, long dormant, started to respond to the gentle engagement provided by the custom wheelchair. Therapy sessions became more effective as she gained confidence and strength. Jake continued refining the design, making incremental improvements that allowed Emily to stand longer and eventually take more independent steps. Their daily sessions were a blend of hard work, shared laughter, and mutual respect. The bond between them deepened, built on trust and the shared triumph over adversity. Emily felt empowered in ways she hadn't since before her accident. The breakthrough affected more than Emily's mobility. It changed her outlook on life. She began imagining possibilities previously thought impossible, attending college independently, exploring her town without limitations, and reconnecting with friends and family in ways she hadn't in years. Her confidence blossomed alongside her physical abilities. Every step she took was a testament to her resilience, the ingenuity of Jake's design, and the relentless pursuit of a dream once thought impossible. She realized that hope, combined with determination and skill, could break through even the most formidable barriers. One rainy afternoon, similar to the day they first met, Emily successfully navigated the entire garage with minimal support. Jake smiled, noticing the subtle shifts in her posture, the ease in her movements, and the genuine joy radiating from her face. Emily laughed freely, feeling weight on her legs for longer stretches than ever before. The custom wheelchair, once a prototype, now felt like an extension of her own body. It allowed her to reclaim independence while safely challenging her limits. This success wasn't just mechanical, it was emotional, a turning point marking the start of a new chapter in her life. Emily's parents, overwhelmed with pride and gratitude, embraced their daughter, tears streaming down their faces. The young mechanic, who had entered their lives by chance, had done something extraordinary. He hadn't just built a wheelchair, he had reignited hope, independence, and dreams. The emotional impact on the family was profound, a mixture of relief, joy, and disbelief. Emily's journey had shifted from despair to possibility, showing that courage, innovation, and empathy could create life-changing moments. Jake quietly celebrated too, knowing that his skill and dedication had made a tangible difference in someone's life. By the end of part 2, Emily was walking short distances independently, with Jake continuing to refine her device for safety and comfort. Her journey was far from complete, but the foundation had been set. The garage, that once smelled of engine oil and rainwater, had transformed into a place of miracles, hope, and endless possibilities. Emily's story became a testament to human resilience, the transformative power of ingenuity, and the impact of genuine care. What started as a chance encounter on a rainy street had blossomed into a life-changing partnership, showing that even the most daunting obstacles could be overcome with skill, dedication, and hope. Emily woke early that morning with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Today, she planned to walk outside for the first time using Jake's fully refined custom device. The sun had broken through the clouds, casting golden streaks across the quiet Texas neighborhood. Her parents were already up, preparing breakfast and offering gentle encouragement. Emily felt a surge of determination, recalling how far she had come since the first day she met Jake in his garage. She had taken tentative steps indoors, practiced balance, and strengthened her muscles. But today marked the real test, walking beyond the familiar walls of the garage. Jake arrived shortly after, carrying extra supports and safety straps, his usual calm and steady demeanor putting Emily at ease. He helped her into the custom wheelchair, ensuring each brace and strap was secure. Emily's hands gripped the armrests tightly, her legs trembling with anticipation. Jake encouraged her with a quiet smile, reminding her to focus on slow, steady steps. As they approached the driveway, Emily felt her pulse quicken, the cool morning breeze brushing against her face. She inhaled deeply, preparing to take the first step outside, aware that this moment symbolized not just mobility, but freedom, independence, and resilience. With Jake's steady hand guiding her, Emily took her first supported steps on the driveway. The sensation of solid ground beneath her feet was overwhelming. Her legs wobbled, muscles straining, but the device held her securely. Her parents watched, holding their breath, tears forming in their eyes. Emily's heart pounded with joy and disbelief as she felt movement she hadn't experienced in years. She laughed, a sound of pure exhilaration as she inched forward, each step a victory against the years of paralysis. Jake's quiet encouragement and careful guidance allowed her to navigate the uneven surface confidently, turning fear into determination. The neighbors began to notice, pausing to watch Emily's progress. Some offered smiles, others whispered words of encouragement. Emily felt a sense of empowerment as she moved steadily, realizing that she could reclaim her independence, even in small increments. Every step bolstered her confidence, and the previously insurmountable fear of falling began to fade. The combination of her effort and Jake's ingenuity had created a system that allowed her to challenge her limits safely. Emily's journey, once confined to therapy rooms and garages, was now extending into the real world, where the ordinary act of walking had taken on extraordinary meaning. Over the following weeks, Emily's abilities improved steadily. She practiced walking longer distances, gradually relying less on Jake's support. The custom wheelchair remained a crucial tool, providing stability and confidence while her muscles strengthened. Emily's parents became her cheerleaders, celebrating every milestone, from a few steps across the yard to walking independently down the street. Emily also reconnected with friends she hadn't seen in years, experiencing the joy of social interactions without feeling limited by her condition. Each step forward was not just physical but emotional, reinforcing her sense of autonomy and reminding her that her life was no longer defined by her accident. Emily and Jake also began sharing their story within the local community, demonstrating that innovation, determination, and empathy could overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. They visited rehabilitation centers, inspiring other individuals facing mobility challenges to explore creative solutions. Emily spoke openly about her journey, encouraging others to remain hopeful and persistent. Jake provided technical demonstrations, showing how modifications and custom designs could enhance mobility and quality of life. Their partnership became a symbol of resilience, innovation, and compassion, showing that one person's skill and dedication could transform another's world. The emotional impact on Emily's family was profound. Her parents, once overwhelmed with worry, now embraced a new reality of hope and possibility. Emily's independence allowed them to witness her growth and reclaim confidence in her future. Simple acts like walking to the mailbox or exploring a nearby park became moments of triumph and celebration. The support, patience, and care Jake had provided turned the family's anxiety into gratitude, creating a bond that extended beyond mere mechanics or therapy. Emily's story illustrated how a combination of human ingenuity and emotional support could yield life-changing outcomes. As Emily continued to grow stronger, she started planning for college and social activities she had once believed were unattainable. Her mobility allowed her to pursue hobbies, attend classes, and participate in community events without the constant limitations of her previous life. The once lonely streets of her Texas neighborhood now felt accessible, a canvas for her newfound independence. Her confidence soared, and the sense of possibility expanded beyond daily routines. Every milestone reinforced her belief that her accident did not define her. Instead, it had set the stage for resilience, determination, and the discovery of unexpected opportunities. Jake quietly celebrated alongside Emily, content with the knowledge that his efforts had made a profound difference. He continued to refine the wheelchair and adjust supports as needed, but the focus shifted to helping Emily achieve more natural mobility. Their relationship, built on trust and shared triumphs, grew into a lasting friendship. Emily often reflected on the serendipity of that rainy day when she first encountered Jake. What began as a chance meeting in a small garage had transformed into a life-altering journey of hope, perseverance, and empowerment for both of them. By the end of part 3, Emily walked confidently, her steps a testament to courage, creativity, and compassion. Her story spread through the community, inspiring others, facing challenges, and reinforcing the importance of empathy, ingenuity, and persistence. The once dreary suburban streets became a symbol of possibility, where determination and innovation could change lives. Emily's journey, from despair to empowerment, showed that even the most daunting obstacles could be overcome with hope, skill, and unwavering support. Her life, once constrained by injury, now brimmed with independence, dreams, and a future full of endless possibilities.